We do not disclose the gate here because we do not own the gate. The Venetian does. Performance of the night tonight. Michael Bisping gets $50,000. Tyrone Woodley gets $50,000. Sasaki gets $50,000. And Mina gets $50,000. So congratulations to all of them. I didn't do a fight of the night. I just did performance bonuses. Who has the first question?
I spoke to you very briefly earlier, and you said you would be paying out a win bonus, I believe, to the Chinese fighter.
That is right.
Who beat Royston Wee. I wonder what your thoughts were on that fight, and also there was one other decision which was controversial, which was the fight between Elizabeth Phillips and
That's right.
The Russian lady. I just wondered what your thoughts were on both fights.
What did you ask me? What I thought about the Phillips fight?
Yes, in terms of the decisions.
Yeah, I know a lot of people, the media included, and the fans. I saw it on Twitter. Felt that Phillips won the fight, but I thought Milano won the fight. So I disagree. But at the end of the day, it doesn't give a shit. Who gives a shit what I think? It's the judges that matter. They picked a winner, and that's all that matters.
Obviously, you touched on the judging there. There was obviously a referee issue, I thought, tonight with the slow stoppage. What did you think overall of the performance tonight? I mean, obviously, these are officials that you guys select. So
yeah, you know what? And you're absolutely right. And you know what? In Nevada right now, we just did an entire season of The Ultimate Fighter, and the commission is nowhere to be found in this season of The Ultimate Fighter, meaning that's a good thing. Every season there's been issues with the commission in Nevada. Nevada's been getting it together, man. Nevada, all the refs and judges have been doing a great job. This entire season they did a great job. And yeah, it wasn't great tonight. It wasn't, and it drives me crazy. So I can sit there and ridicule Nevada, California, and all these other places we go. Nobody to point the finger at tonight except for us.
Fair enough.
Not me personally. I didn't pick anything, but I'll say us.
Fair enough there. Do you have any details on what the enhanced drug testing consists of? We've seen the word enhanced, in the official statement and now here, but do you know what that entails?
Blood and urine. They're taking both blood and urine samples. They'll be tested for everything.
And is this something that we're going to see more frequently?
If they drank too much caffeine yesterday, we'll know.
And I know, what was it Michael's comments that prompted this? You know, the picture that was floating around and him saying, "I'd like to see more." Was that what prompted this?
Yeah. Bisping prompts everything that we do. Everything Bisping says, we run out and then, react to it. We've been talking about enhanced drug testing forever. We've been doing it for a long time. We're spending a lot of money on this stuff, and we're serious about it. You've heard me say it a million times. If you are doing anything, we're going to catch you.
So we can expect to see this more frequently then?
You've been seeing it. Where have you been?
Traveling.
Where have you been? You've been traveling. You've been at every fight that I've been at. When have you not heard that we're doing enhanced drug testing?
We've heard that it was coming. I just didn't know if this was a one-time thing.
We did it. We did it with Robbie Lawler, and Hendricks got drug tested. The list goes on and on. There's tons of guys that have been tested beyond the norm,
sure,
the regular testing that the athletic commissions would do. There's been tons of guys doing it, and I can't remember the exact number this year and next year, but it's close to $2 million. And what we're spending in enhanced drug testing. Everybody keeps talking about, nobody's taking it more serious than we are.
And last question I have for you. I know, obviously, it's up to Joe Silva and those guys do matchmaking, but Bisping and Rockhold were both going back and forth saying they'd be interested. Is that a fight that interests you or something you'd like to see put together?
Yeah, that's a fight that would make sense, definitely. It'd be a good fight. I'm not saying that's what we're doing, but yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
I have two questions concerning the Chinese fighters. The first one is about Yao Zhikui, who lost to Royston Wee. I heard that a judge was removed after that fight. I want to know if that's true. And the second question is, some of the Chinese fighters, some of the fights were good, some of them were bad. I was wondering what you had to say about the Chinese fighters overall today.
Yeah, that one was good. The Ultimate Fighter one was bad. This is a new market. We're cultivating new talent here. You can't expect the rest of the world to be in this thing 13 years and then China to catch up overnight. There's a lot of work to do in this country. We have to build the grassroots. We have to build the groundwork. and start to get some, some young, talented, athletic guys training in mixed martial arts. I've seen this. I've been doing this for a long time. And the way that it happens is, we've already kick-started this thing here. You're going to see lots of young kids, 5, 6 years old, 10, 11, 12, 15, 16 years old, all training and start to pop up 5 or 6 years from now. We got 5 or 6 years of hard work to do in this country, and we're on it. We're committed to this thing. And I don't know how many of you have been here at the Venetian all week or just got here today, but if you can't see the Venetian's commitment to this, holy shit. You can't walk anywhere in this casino without seeing the UFC fight. And anywhere in town, there's billboards in Hong Kong. It's everywhere. The Venetian's commitment to this thing was absolutely astounding. I'm blown away by what they've done here, and I'm really happy to be partners with these guys. So we are here for the long haul, and we're going to continue to build talent here. It's tough to judge these guys after one night. It's going to happen.
One last question. Do you have any time frame for a fight on mainland China? And if so, any cities that you'd like to hold a fight in?
We're reorganizing everything out here, and we'll have a real good solid game plan in the next 30 to 60 days on what we're going to do out here. But it's all good, not bad. Yes, ma'am.
2 questions for you. One is Jung Hyun Kim. He took a pretty hard shot there, and he's holding his eye after. I was curious if you have any update on his status.
I don't. Nobody's told me anything negative, so I'm sure he's okay. Nobody's said otherwise.
And the second question involves Alberto Minha and his opponent, Shinzo Anzai, who came in as a late notice opponent. Obviously, you felt very confident about Alberto's performance. How did you feel about Anzai's performance?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough when a guy comes in on short notice, Was that the question you asked me? I mean,
what did you think about his performance? Because it seemed like that was going for the fight of the night.
Yeah.
Two of them throwing leather, and then judo versus wrestling.
Yeah. What's my opinion? Did I think it was fight of the night?
No, his Shinzo Anzai's his performance specifically.
He looked awesome right up until he got knocked out. Yeah, it was a tough fight.
I'm a journalist from China, in Shenzhen, China. And I wonder, in this fight today, I heard many audience, just follow this gentleman's question, the fighting for the Yao Zhihui, they say the final judge, the result is controversial. So what happened for that? So is that I want a clear answer, is that we heard the judge is removed. Is that true or not? And the second, what is the Chinese role play in the UFC's the global strategic way?
Did you ask me, sir, if it was true that the judge was removed? Yes, he was. He was involved in the first fight and the second fight, and I told the guys to let him go grab a beer and some popcorn, go sit down and start watching fights and not judging them.
My second question is, what do you think the Chinese, the market is very important for the future of development of UFC and globally?
Yeah, I do. I think that, first of all, this is where martial arts started here in China. And there's so many people here, there's got to be some talented, athletic guys who can fight in this country. It's just a matter of cultivating that talent now. And plus, just like everywhere else in the world, China is no different than the rest of the world. Everywhere we've gone, this is the new martial art that everybody is taking and training in, young kids, men, women of all ages. And it's a very exciting sport. And as we continue to put on fights and grow the business here, basically we're going to end up eventually with our Yao Ming. You know what I mean? When we find our Yao Ming of MMA here in China, that's when you're really going to see an explosion here. He's out there somewhere. We just got to find him.
Hi. Could you tell us more about the status of Kong Lee? How's he? I guess a lot of fans worry about that as well.
Yeah.
And because before I interviewed him, he said tonight is kind of like British pride versus China's pride, but it seems tonight China's pride has got beaten up. Oh, Asian's pride got beaten up. So what's your comment about that?
That Asian pride got beat tonight? I don't know. I think that, no matter where we go, we go to places. Well, sometimes we'll go to Brazil with a card full of Brazilian fighters, and Brazil has a rough night. America has a rough night sometimes. We're still, like I said, we're still building this sport here in Asia, so it's going to take a little bit. Asia will come back, I promise. We'll have a night where it's all Asians who win. Tyrone Woodley is here.
Excuse me.
Yes, ma'am.
How's his conditions? How's his status?
How's who? Kong Lee?
Yeah.
Kong's pretty banged up. He's back there. They're doing the drug testing right now. He's pretty banged up. I wouldn't be surprised if they send him straight to the doctor after this. He's a tough guy. He took a lot of big shots tonight. Both his eyes were closed. So I'd assume he's probably going to go straight to the hospital.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, can I ask one more question here? It seems like UFC is trying to expand in Asia, and but the office, the Asian office, is moving from Beijing to Singapore, as I heard. So, have you encountered any difficulties promoting this in maybe in China or even Greater China area? And also, is that because the TV show came into an end, and 3 of the 5 fight nights in China were held in Macau? So do you have any big plan for Macau, or you want to build Macau as a base for that?
I'm so sorry, honey. I can barely hear you. What's the question? Can somebody sum that question up for me? And why do we move the office? I have no idea. Who really gives a shit about that anyway, where our office is? I don't know the answer to that question, but what's the second part of the question?
Sorry, can anyone hear me?
Will all the fights be in Macau, or will they be in other places too? Yeah, obviously, Macau is a destination, and if you look at what these guys, like I was just saying, what these guys have done for this event. I've been doing these fights for 13 years, and I've been in every casino and every place that you could do it. I've never seen anything like what these people have done for us here for this event. Macau doesn't suck. Yes, we will probably come back to Macau often, but yeah, we're going to do some fights in mainland China too. Definitely, we're not pulling out of doing fights in mainland China if that's what you're asking me. No way. To build a sport in a country, you have to take it everywhere. You have to travel it all around the country, go to different cities, big and small. Just like we've done in the United States and Brazil and England and everywhere else, we'll do the same here in China. I hope I answered your question. Have we had any difficulties here in China? Absolutely not. I think that I think that for coming in to do business in a country like China, it's been very smooth. It's been much easier than I would have expected. There really hasn't been any real, bumps in the road or anything. You're going to come into a new place, and there's always trial and error when you're running a business. But this has been pretty good. We've had great reception from the fans. Like I said, the Venetian Macau is incredible. They've been so good to us, and yeah, I have no complaints. I love it here. I could come here. I could live here. That's how much I like it here. So, believe me, we're in. We're in for the long haul. There's been no problems. I hope I answered your question now.
Hello. Good evening.
Hi.
First of all, I should say that thank you so much for coming up, bringing up these events. And basically, I've been here in Macau for 15 years and be involved in several sports, several events. This is the one, the big trademark. I wish you the best coming up.
Thank you, sir.
The question is, Macau is the hub. We have 20,270 rooms just in Cotai Strip, so it's a huge hub for Asia. We have from here to the satellite hub we have about 3 kilometers optical fiber, easy to broadcast around the world. So I think you are making the right choice to keeping up bringing the events. And one thing is, I believe it, tonight we saw the Chinese come up with a very steady and still performance without mature or martial arts because they are not educated yet. So my question will be, what the UFC role could be in the future to educate Chinese market in the same way that you educated when you reach Brazil with the jiu-jitsu and judo, and change absolutely the UFC when that happened. So I believe that change could change a lot of the UFC events basically in China because they are steady, they know how to fight, they are remarkable fighters, this is good evidence, but the skills on the ground, they are missing and they needed to learn, need time. So what's the rule in your plan, please?
No, you're right, and I agree with you 100%. Every time we go into a new market, like I said, there's an education process, not just for the fans to understand the sport, where it came from, the rules, the ground game, everything, but for the talent, the up-and-coming future talent. And what we're doing is like I said, we've invested in China. We went out, our matchmakers came here and started looking for fighters, looking for camps, bringing guys in who could train people on the ground. We had the same problem in England. When we started in England, there's no wrestling backgrounds in England. There was no real ground game there. There were a couple, first time I ever went to England in 2002, one guy, and he's here tonight, one guy had a gym and was teaching jiu-jitsu, that's it. And now look at how far the UK has come. Australia. In Australia, there was one guy, or 2 guys that fought out of Australia back in the day. Now there's tons of talent coming out of Australia. But we're here. Like I said, we've set up our office here, wherever our office ends up now. But, we're here digging in, looking for talent, bringing in talent to help create more talent. We've done that here, and we did it in Mexico, too. Did I answer your question? Kinda?
Okay, yeah, James Goyder from Sherdog. I wondered, Top Rank have got a press conference here on Monday. They've got a show coming up in September with Manny Pacquiao, and they've done a lot of shows right here in this venue. Do you see them as direct rivals in terms of the market here?
No way. Listen, let me go off again on the Venetian here. These guys are bringing in major events, awesome events, and I can tell you this, I can't guarantee you this, but it looks like, we're talking with these guys about bringing in even bigger fights here, UFC fights that you might not normally see in China. I think what these guys are doing here is they're bringing these unbelievable events for this market. And when you really think about the events that they're bringing in, not just for the Chinese and the Asian market here, people are going to start coming in from other countries for the type of events that these guys are bringing in. I don't see it as competition. I see it as building the combat sports market here in Asia, whether it's Manny Pacquiao, whether it's the UFC, or any other type of fighting they bring into the Venetian. I love it. I love what they've done here. I couldn't say enough good things about this place.
John Morgan with USA Today Sports. Tyron Woodley, please. Tell me about the performance. Obviously, I don't think there would be much to complain about with that type of win, but did you see there was a potential for this type of fight? Did you expect to be able to get out of there that quickly?
I saw you made the wrong pick.
I did make the wrong pick. I went pretty bad tonight.
No, I know Dungyan Kim was tough. I've said it many times. I thought he's probably closer to top 5 welterweight just off his victories and his record. I had to watch a ton of film, and I realized that he was a lot more dangerous than people give him credit for. So I was really ready, but more importantly, it's not about what my opponent does. When I go out there and I just give it all and I just be explosive, I win most of, if not all, my fights. So that's just really the game plan from now on, and that's all I was really focusing on tonight.
And do you think with this type of performance now, maybe we can stop hearing the Tyron Woodley chokes in big fights criticism?
I'll stop saying it.
I've been in a ton of big fights. I have had some frozen moments, but I think everybody in their career, even in victory, you can have a frozen moment in a fight. I think I've shown that I don't know how many top 10 guys at this point, but I've beaten a lot of top 10 guys in my career, and I didn't drop too far down. It was just kind of disappointing for myself because I know what I was capable of doing, but I'm still a top 5 welterweight. Me beating this guy, I'll still be in the same position and looking for another big fight.
Go ahead in the back there. Get that man a mic.
I want Terry to more comment about what he paid in the match. How he paid in the match.
Say it. Just stop.
It's a question for Tyrone. So if you could comment on how you performed today, more specifically.
I performed well. You know, I saw an opportunity. I exploded on it. You know, that was really the game plan. I didn't predict that it would happen in a minute and 1 second. But, you know, if I get an opportunity to get over somebody, I think I've shown in the past that I'll finish it off. And that's what I did today.
It's Jimmy from the Shenzhen TV. I want to ask the winner, the big winner of this main event. What's your next target? What do you want to expect the next rival for your career?
Well, I think it's quite early to make a long plans. You know, I'm just very happy to debut in Macau, and then after the big drama I had in March, and then the old change with the opponents. You know, I think I have to enjoy the moment right now. I'm a small fish in this big ocean, you know what I mean? So welterweight's a very tough category, but I keep going. I believe I have a lot to show, you know, and today was just the first step. I wait for this moment for my whole life, and I'm just very glad for the opportunity to be among these guys here, and I'm gonna give my best anytime.
And I want another question is, what do you think about the UFC atmosphere in Macau, the people, and also what do you think about your rival today, the Kang Lee, because he is the most favorite?
Well, the crowd was amazing. The crowd was unbelievable. You know, I'm from Brazil, but I'm based in Hong Kong. But I couldn't have the best vibe than that. The vibe was amazing. Yeah, and then. About Kung Lee fight was a great fight, you know, like a big heart in the fight, but yeah, that is it. Great fights, and then I'm very happy to be in this card. This card was amazing, also card, and then just make my debut even better.
A question for Ning Guanyu.
宁广友你好，我是那个环球时报英文版的记者李晶晶。今天因为你和杨建平你们两个的表现呢，观众之间有非常大的不满的一个情绪。尽管您最后也得了赢得这场比赛，但是这场观众还是很不满啊。不知道你怎么看今天晚上你们俩之间的比赛？My question is for Ning Guanyu. His performance with Yang Jianping, there's a huge disagreement among the audience about his comments about tonight's performance. Thank you.
能赢得比赛，挺高兴。可是这场比赛打得不太好，没有预想的好，让大家失望了。以后训练会加倍的努力，打出更好的比赛。
Yeah, winning this fight is, yeah, I feel happy about that. But I'm at the same time not pleased about my performance tonight. It's not 100% what I expected. So. Just want to say sorry to maybe let you guys and all the fans maybe get a little bit disappointment. In the future, I'll be training harder and I'll be fighting harder, and I'll come back.
Yeah, raise your hand. Yep, they'll bring you a mic.
I thought I forgot to introduce me. I'm speaking by behalf of Al Jazeera Sports Channel. I'm correspondent from that. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So, for you, please, you didn't disappoint us tonight. You fight well, very well tonight. I was impressed about your character. The only thing I believe, as we said, MMA is a mixed fight. mixed axial fight. I'm going to ask you a question. Can you consider it to training and study jiu-jitsu, judo, to improve your skills and come back to UFC?
Thank you，我会的，我会一直努力下去，会加倍的训练，然后找更好的那个训练方法，还有柔道啊、柔术啊，还有站立，都会好好的训练。这是我的路，我要走下去。
Yeah, sure. I'll be working harder, and as you said, I'll be training more judo and jiu-jitsu, and also standing all the aspects of the mixed martial arts. And that's the road I chose. I'll just keep working harder.
We'll do a few more questions here. Anybody have a question for Bisping?
I hope so.
Mike, obviously, you look good throughout the fight, but things really changed with when his eye got hurt in the second round. Did you know it was a clean blow, or was there any concern of yours that it might have been an eye poke?
100% it was a clean blow. I felt it on my knuckle, you know. Yeah, it wasn't an eye poke. Far from it, you know. You could clearly see I was beating him to the punch all night. He was a tough opponent. Every time he threw a kick, I blocked it. But, it certainly kept me honest, because every time I blocked it, I thought, wow, if one of those connected, I'd be in trouble. But, all my training paid off. I felt good, I felt sharp, felt loose. To be honest, when I was training for Martin Munoz, everything started coming together, but I had to drop out with my eye. And then in the Tim Kennedy fight, I never really got a chance to display anything because I got out-wrestled and held down. So it's been a lot of work. It was a good win over a good opponent, but I've got to build on that.
Kind of an odd ending to the third round. You pulled up short, just like a second or two short of the bell. Did you hurt your hand, or did you mistime the end of the round? What happened there?
No, not really. I think that was just... I hit him with some good shots, and I was anticipating any second now the bell was going to go. And, it's pretty hard work. So I thought, here we go, end of the round, I'll go sit down. I was waiting for the bell, I was a little out of breath.
Fair enough. And I guess if you could finally just walk us through the finish. I mean, it seemed like maybe you sensed he was ready to go because you just unloaded a barrage of punches before the knee.
Yeah, sure. I mean, I was using my jabs and my straight rights to break him down. And then when I knew he was kind of more worn down and wasn't really too much danger to me, then I started mixing in the, the hooks, the body shots, the uppercuts, and looking for the finish, He hits hard. He's got a lot of knockouts to his name, so I had to be careful. This was a very important fight for me. I had to win this fight, simple as that. And, of course, I wanted a stoppage as well, I'm sure you guys are sick of hearing me saying I'm one of the best in this and that, but, losing fights doesn't go hand in hand with proclaiming to be one of the best. So I needed a good performance. I was happy with that.
And it wasn't an eye poke, it was a punch. We looked on the replay. It was a punch, no eye poke.
A question for Ning Guanyu over here.
I'm sorry, this is for Mr. White. I'm the reporter of Boxing and Fight magazine. What do you think of the performance of Ning Guanyu and Yang Jinping? The second question is, tonight Wang Sai and Zhang Lipeng, they both win. So what do you think the performance of them? Do they have a very big improvement?
Somebody's going to have to help me with that one. What was the question? Yeah, just wrap it up for me in one little.
What did you think of Ning Guanyu's performance? And also, secondly, Wang Sai and Zhang Lipeng both won tonight's fight. What did you think of their performance? Did they improve a lot from their last fights?
Yeah, we've been talking about it. In these new markets, these guys are just starting out. It is what it is. They take their win, they move on and fight the next opponent. And it's all part of building a new market, like China and different parts of Asia. You know, we're here for the long haul. These guys are going to have to get in there and work. Everybody else is 13 years ahead of them as far as skill set and having done MMA for a long time. You know, I was talking about that earlier when we went into England. You know, there's no wrestlers in England. There wasn't really any good wrestling. And he actually came out, he was a kickboxer, but his wrestling was very good. He wrestled with a lot of tough guys. And you'll start to see these guys improve and get better and better. And now that they're in the UFC, they can go to other places and train with better people too, which is always a good idea. So it's all good. I have no complaints. Any more questions? Go ahead, my man in the front. Right here in the front row. And then you just pass it back to the guy in the blue after. All right, or the guy in the blue first.
I'm from Shenzhen TV. I have a question for Bisping. We found a nice game between you and Kang Lee, but we found weird. It's very strange. There's a main event without any try to take down. What's your comment about that? What do you think of that?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Okay, so it was a good game. I'm assuming that means fight. That's about all I got. Oh, no takedowns. You know what?
That's a good question.
There actually was a couple of takedowns from Kung Lee. He tried a couple of times, and you know, I just used my hips to stop them. I didn't really want to go out there and take him down. You know, I wanted to beat him at his own game. I wanted to give the fans a great fight. My last fight, you know, the guy took me down and held me down, and it was boring. The crowd was booing. I don't like that. I want to entertain the fans. People want to see a knockout. They want to see a finish, and that's what I came here to do. Kung tried a couple of times. Obviously, it's easy to say I'm not going to go for a takedown, but then when you get punched in the face and you don't like it, you know, you often look for a takedown. Fortunately, tonight I was the guy dishing it out, so I wasn't looking for a takedown. But it is mixed martial arts. You are allowed to do takedowns, but I prefer knocking people out.
I don't think I've ever seen you throw as many spinning strikes in a fight as you did today. Was that kind of your way of saying to Kung Lee that you were going to beat him at his own game?
Not really. As Dana just said, I started off as a kickboxer, and you know, it's kind of crazy. I've never fought to the best of my ability in the UFC. As long as I've been doing it, it's because it means so much to me. It really does, you know. And as my boxing coach says to me, Jason Perillo, and part of my language here, I mindfuck myself, is what he says. So, because it means so much. And then I fought a lot of wrestlers who would take me down. So it kind of, you know, I was always very, very hesitant to throw what I could. With Kung Lee, I said it leading up to the fight, he was the perfect stylistic opponent to bring out the best in me, because he may look for takedowns, but he's not the best wrestler. So I was able to use a wider arsenal of attacks.
I have a question for you, Michael. It's Leslie from Macau Post Daily. Hi. Did you expect Kung Lee to continue after the first stoppage when the doctor checked him?
100%, you know, and I really respect Kung Lee. Tonight, I hit him with some good shots, and he was, you know, we all saw there was a lot of blood, and he was kind of bust up. But he was still in that fight, you know. There was times, you know, he'd start every round hard, and he'd throw some good punches that kept me honest. I knew if I made a mistake and let my guard down or got too cocky, you know, it only takes one shot, especially with those small gloves on. I knew, being the warrior that he is, he'd want to continue, and you know, there was plenty of fight still left in the guy. So 100% yes.
We'll take one more question, if there is one. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate. Oh,
thank you.
Wait, we got one guy late to the hand raise.
Just a quick question. You for Michael. You so quickly started, you know, in the after the match, started talking about your next match, and you know, instead of focusing on what you did there, I'm curious, why were you so quick in the aftermath to immediately start talking a little trash and going to that route?
Who did?
I
I started talking trash? Or?
No, not talking trash, but talking about Rockhold, and that was the
well,
first thing.
come on, the guy's been calling me out constantly after every fight. He talks about me, he tweets about me 20 times a day. As I said, I think the guy's obsessed with me, and why not? I'm a good-looking guy. It's the year 2014. If that floats his boat, good for him. He's a bit of a pretty boy. Listen, if that's what he wants, great. I'm in no position right now to be calling out the champion. I never understand why people call me out. I'm the 5, 6, 7 guy, whatever. If I call someone out, I want to call out the champion, okay? I'm not in a position to do that right now. I've got to build on tonight. Whoever the boss or whoever they want me to fight, I'll fight. I've always been that guy. I've never turned down an opponent. And if that lanky streak of piss wants to get it on, I have no problem.
Well, there you go. Thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. Have a good night. Be safe. And Venetia Macau, thank you. You guys are awesome.
Thank you, Venetia.